There are different kinds of forces that live within every human being. They're older than us and they are eternal, which means that they are not going to die. And these are the forces that are trying to gain our consciousness, and they're trying to gain the possession of our decisions and actions, because they have this innate sense to gain as much control as they can over our lives. And that's how these forces are designed to function. Now, it is really going to depend upon our own willingness, that how much control are we willing to give up. But eventually, if we are not gaining control over our lives, these forces are going to dictate what kind of decisions are we going to make and what kind of actions are we going to take. And as a result of that, they're going to determine the outcomes of our lives. And we literally become so obsessed towards them that at the end of the day, these are the gods that we are worshipping. Even if you say that you're an atheist, even if you say that you subscribe to any specific form of religion like Christianity or Islam or Hinduism, at the end of the day, you're neither serving Allah, nor serving Jesus, nor you're serving Shiva. At the end of the day, you are actually serving to your temptations, and they're acting as your gods if you don't take any control over them. So you can ask yourself that who is the God that you are worshipping? Which means that what is that one fundamental thing in your life that you are actually subscribing to, and you are willingly surrendering all your potential for growth or all your potential for action to it? Is it the phone addiction? Is it a relative in your life? Is that the women in your life? Is that your children? Is that your job? Whatever you cannot live without, or whatever kind of habit that you have that has an unconscious control over your action taking mechanism, that you cannot just help it, is your God. Now, the next question that you need to ask yourself is that are you willing to get rid of this God or not? Because at the end of the day, if you want to get rid of something, you need to ask yourself, are you willing to get rid of it? Because the process is going to be really, really painful. And if you don't look at it the way that it is going to be a war, you're going to be absolutely disappointed, because no attempt is going to be fruitful if you're not being serious. So, now this is not something that is superficial. This is not something that has come out of some sort of fiction or some sort of a novel or some sort of a dark secrets religious book. It has actually come from our daily lives. When you wake up, you ask yourself, when you wake up, what's the first thing that you do? You actually check your phone. And when you check your phone, you look at those posts that you made last night or 2 days before, 3 days before, and you see that how people are reacting to it. Your mood is going to be instantly positive if people are loving that, and your mood is going to go down the ditch if people are not reacting it the way you anticipated, and instead of reacting positively, they're reacting negatively. Now, this is something which is going to be really, really devastating for you in the long run, because it's going to ruin your day, because now your mood is dictated by your God, and that God is that dopamine rush that you always get whenever you get any kind of comment or any kind of reaction from other people through your mobile phone. So that's the God that you're worshiping, because this is something that you cannot get rid of no matter what. Because worship is not something where you just bow your head. Worship is obsession, and anything that you're obsessed by, that thing is serving as your God. So what we need to understand is that these new gods, like pursuit of money or pursuit of women or pursuit of this dopamine rush by the social media platforms, what you need to understand is that these gods don't require that kind of sacrifices that were actually demanded by the ancient gods, like the gods in the Greek mythologies and all of that. They don't require sacrifice, they only require subscription. All you have to do is to subscribe to them for a month, and then they own you. It can be Netflix, it can be any kind of movie websites where you can absolutely just waste your time 7 hours, 8 hours, 10 hours a day. You can just sit in front of your screen and just keep looking at the content which has been given to you by those companies who are making big hefty profits as a result of that. Or on the other hand, it can be anything like a sexual activity that you can be addicted to, or any kind of alcoholic or any other drugs which is going to become a part of your identity because you cannot live without that. And the sacrifices that are required from you, they don't require any kind of rituals. All they want from you is your time. All they want from you is a predictable approach in which they can absolutely keep you in front of that screen. And now their currency is not any kind of ritual. Their currency is your time. The more they can captivate your attention, the more money they're going to make. So the rules of this world have changed. Now you're not a slave to any kind of god, or you're not a slave to any kind of power that is trying to control you. Now you are willingly surrendering your freedom without having any shackles or without having any kind of chains. Now, this is something which is really dangerous. So, if you really want to break this cycle, the first question that you need to ask yourself is that you will have to measure where your time goes. Because until you don't identify your enemy, it is going to become really, really difficult for you to get out of it. So, track your time and see where your time goes. How much time are you spending in front of your screen? How much time are you spending on any kind of habit that is taking away the time of productivity from you and is actually becoming the main reason behind your downfall? And the next thing that you have to do is that you must start spending time without those activities. You will have to get rid of these gods. You will have to break these unconscious chains of slavery. You will have to ask yourself that, can you spend 5 to 6 hours without social media? It doesn't matter how much the temptation is strong. If you cannot spend 5 hours, start with a half an hour, then 1 hour, then 2 hours, then 3 hours. Then you can go without the social media for days. That's how you can actually get rid of these chains, which are unconsciously keeping you down, and they are ruining your life, and they are feeding off you. And what you need to understand is that it's not going to be that you're going to get rid of all the slavery. Sometimes some slaveries are better than the others. It is quite possible that you can get rid of your social media addiction, but if you don't give it an alternative, your life is not going to get neutralized. Because if you get rid of one bad habit and if you don't replace it with a good habit, what's going to happen is that that bad habit is going to go out of the window, is going to be replaced by another bad habit. So get out of the slavery of the social media addiction and become a slave to your work. Become a slave to the quality of work that you're trying to produce, because that's the only way out. So the assignment for you today is to ask yourself, who is the God that you're worshiping? Is that God blessing you with those things that are actually a source of growth for you or not? And if not, how to get rid of it? Now, once you get rid of it, who is the next God that you're willing to worship, who's going to bring that kind of change in your life that you want? Till the next time, peace.